Part 2 in this video series, I guess. 9:45 in the morning, West Coast time. It's the 27th of July, 2024. The Weaver Agency of Roseman, California, telling you a tale of tales about the places I grew up in and about places you would possibly travel if you come to Los Angeles and different things. So I left off with Griffith Park because there's a lot to talk about in the area. There's a lot to talk about areas I've lived in. Griffith Park has a lot of mountain lions and bears. Not to mention, our whole hillsides are surrounded by life forms because we have squeezed them and squeezed them again in different areas. They come out to the cities, they come out to the urban areas looking for food left and right, and we have to have animal control to put them back into the cages, so to speak, in the hillsides where they know. It's big enough, but it's not big enough. We're squeezing them dry in a lot of areas. In different territories they know. And there are rules out there of how to deal and how not to deal with the life forms out there. Mountain lions, most of them are tracked. Rest of them aren't. So we have sighters still watching stuff like this. We have construction happening along the freeways that are bridging areas of the mountain area regions, making wildlife crossing areas where they don't have to get getting killed by the traffic that's constantly flowing through the Hollywood 405 freeway, not to mention the 5 freeway. Now, if you're driving in the areas, there's a lot of places to drive through. And it would have been better if you actually drove through Griffith Park, but carefully in those areas. I know some people like to drive like maniacs, and they still do, at least out here anyway in Antelope Valley, but just as bad in the San Fernando Valley and everywhere else in L.A. There's Travel Town Railroad out there in hillsides. Old, very old steam engines. Very old steam engines. Drive around a track, and people would see about how railways were. That'd be tourist traps like that one there. If you're into Western memorabilia or regalia, or even in the history, being a history buff, Gene Autry Museum, American West, I recommend it highly. Me and my brother have been through it. Across from it is the L.A. Zoo. If you want to seek animals in cages, be my guest. Me, I don't recommend it to anybody. I had my fair share as a kid. Not anymore. We have our animation studios along the area, not to mention big Disney's out in the area, or close to Griffith Park on the north end. 5 freeway drives close to them. And also we have the LA equestrian area in case you're still into horses. People rent horses in the area, go to different locations here and there. It'll take you out on trails. Done that once for my birthday. That was actually something. It was. Scared the hell out of me when I was a lot younger, but it was something. But I was trying to tell people about the transportation, because in the previous video I was telling them about the Metrolink and the subway stuff. So let's just say if you didn't want to do a subway, but you just want to do overhead, drive through things, or you take the bus. Want to go over to Universal Studios or a few other areas, you take buses. Now, there is something to be said about San Fernando Valley. I mean, it is a rough area. They've got areas that have exquisite restaurants and shopping areas for You want to get your hots or memorabilia stuff for LA, be my guest. There are tourist traps in there. But you just have to keep it chill with the natives. Don't bug them too much. But also keep on track because some of these guys like to be rip-off artists. I remember that on some occasions. And I used to live in this valley for a long while until I got the hell out of here in 2005. Rents got too expensive. Places got unavailable. Go east, young man. Go into the desert. I got stuck out here ever since. But if you're in for the bus adventure, give me a guest. I forgot what the bus system was like out here altogether. I'd have to relearn it all over again if I wanted to get back over there. I know it takes about an hour to get from Burbank, downtown Burbank Transportation Center, on a bus, going across, where the hell are we going across? Well, definitely not that area, that's for darn sure. No, because they would head over to North Hollywood or Toluca Lake to get you to the transportation hubs. That would actually take you into Studio City and stuff. Or probably on the Victory Line? Victory Line will probably take you over there, but not much. Doesn't get you to a transportation hub to get over to Universal Studios. I mean, there is a bus out there going directly to the... I just haven't been able to locate it just yet. People normally would normally use their cars to park. Pretty damn expensive getting into the place and out of the place. But it is a tourist hotspot. But if you're into subway, there is a Universal City Station out there. That'll get you to and from Union Station if you wanted to. Me, I would be trying to get into North Hollywood. No. Why? They're trying to reinvent North Hollywood. And believe me, this place had gone through so much redecoration, I don't even recognize it anymore. I really don't. I don't know my own town anymore in that area. So why am I doing this? Well, I know of the old, but not of the new. Okay, so we get back over to the Union Station again. All right. So from downtown Burbank on the Metrolink, you're taking the bus and it's paralleling Griffith Park. Goes through Edison, somewhere in there. There'll be shopping centers that you'll see, but you can't get up just yet. Not unless you're taking the bus systems out there. Said before, it's been too damn long. Way too damn long. But from that point, when you're taking the train towards the 110 freeway and you're still paralleling the 5, Elysian Park. Elysian Park has the infamous Dodger Stadium. And they have a Elysian Lake out there, and it's pretty out there, I understand. Park recreation systems over there, but here's the thing. Welcome to Los Angeles Police Training Area. You want to know about the Academy? It's out there. It's out there. A lot of hiking points to get to and from the baseball stadium. And yes, throughout the decades, they've been remodifying portions of it left and right. Not to mention the parking. A nightmare. But you head into downtown Los Angeles. Keep this also in mind, boys and girls. Once you're in this area, keep on your toes and don't cause any issues, because here's the fun part about Union Station out there in Los Angeles. It's right across from Metrolink, administration, but a permanent place not to go to, or temporary, depending on what kind of an idiot you're going to be, because say hello to a court system out there, and Men's Central Jail, Central Receiving, and Twin Towers. You have just crossed into the Twilight Zone. And there is heavy police and sheriff presence in the area. So if you feel comfortable with law enforcement, be my guest. But I don't consider the jail areas very photogenic. Any other kind of buildings that we have out in the area on the west side of the Union Station, okay, go for it. And if you still wanted to get a bite to eat, there are several shops in Union Station for people to go for. But if you want a restaurant experience, there's a few of them I can recommend. If you're of the Latina, you have the, if you have the appetite for Mexican food, there's Olvera Street, world famous. COVID damn near shut them down. A few businesses had to shut down. The rest of them are struggling like crazy, trying to get businesses back up again. And with so many restrictions that they actually had during COVID and after COVID, I'm surprised they're still up and operational. But it is a landmark that they're not going to get rid of. They're not. If you want American dining experience in the area within walking distance, about a block or two, there's Felipe's. I recommend the au jus and the roast beef. But if you want the Americanized version of a restaurant and you're still in the Union Station, may I recommend that you get out of Union Station to the east building of it, and walk across till you see Denny's. Now keep in mind the people in the area work in the area, but they're also released from Twin Towers or from the IRC. And it's that area that you still have to keep your wits about you. They're nice places to visit for tourist traps, even for us people out here in the desert. We like to get out every once in a while just to see what everywhere else is like. Just to get shots of things. Union Station's been around since, God knows, century. Modifications on the inside, down below. Certain areas they kept intact, and the rest of them it just kept changing until they had it right where they wanted. I hadn't explored it all in that area. It's quite a bit of a walk. And it's in this area that they do have people to help you out regarding transportation on how to get point A to point B. They'll tell you to use apps like crazy, but if you're not familiar with the apps, I think they still have the hard copy schedules. There are light rails in the area, lines that travel above ground, as well as the subway system we have underneath at different points, including one if you want to get back to the San Fernando Valley to the Union Station and also to North Hollywood. I was trying to give you that indication. Don't get me wrong, LA's a nice place to look at, but you still have a lot of people who like to pickpocket. I don't trust any of them. Thank them for the advice and get the hell out of there. But continue with your photography and continue with your exploration because there's a lot to see of LA, of Civic Center, and of the cultural museums, different shopping areas. It's just the people sometimes you have to be, yeah. But also in the area, not to mention that we all have a dark side to everything, including in our city, our fair city, Skid Row. There are there are places that actually service the homeless, house them, feed them, clothe them. But for the most part, we have people hanging around, and they have homeless places around the area. They will have encampments. Kind of sucks because of the Supreme Court's decision. They're trying to get rid of the homeless encampments all around, trying to clean up the place. But don't be surprised if you happen to see any action. I just hadn't been in that area. But living out here, things you do get to know about. Because there are certain areas out there that are encampments that they have no choice but to live where they are. It's harsh, it sucks, but this is what we have. Google Maps will show you generic areas, roughly when the maps are taken. It'll give you an idea, overhead picture of what you're looking at. If you want culture, there are freeways and actually there are bus routes and rails that'll get you in subways close to Sunset Boulevard, Hollywood Boulevard, because there are routes from the Metrolink to get you into that area. Now, as I said before, they will get you back into the San Fernando Valley in case you wanted to look at that particular place. Keep in mind, it'll take you about an hour underneath underneath everything else. Of course, everyone else would probably want to see it about the Greek Theater. It does have shows every so often during the summertime. And so does, where was that again? Along Hollywood Boulevard. Oh yeah, the Hollywood Hills and Hollywood Boulevard, the Hollywood Bowl. Modifications like every 10 or 15 years. They keep changing the sound systems and structure a little bit on the stage. But yeah, they pretty much a place to look at. Griffith Observatory hadn't gone through any modifications kept over the last 15 years, 10, 15 years. They added some more new exhibits over there. But that place, there's no bus. You had to use transportation to get up there or hike the whole thing up there. It's very difficult getting over to that observatory. And limited parking spaces. So if you're going to be renting, prepare for a long walk because some of those areas you're going to have a field day with. But it's a hell of a view, I'll tell you that much. Said before, watch out for the life forms out there. We have our sites for people to look at. Now, as I said before, concerning about the Universal Studios, we have the metro area where people get off at, and also get buses that'll take them further into the valley or away from the valley. But the metro station also takes people all the way into North Hollywood. In there, they do have shopping. They do have exhibits. They just don't have rail transportation in the valley, except for one's going out of Burbank, heading up towards Hollywood Burbank Airport and heading west. That's about it. But everything else is bus. Everything else is bus. Now, the last stop for the Metrolink getting into the San Fernando Valley is Chandler Boulevard, Lancashire. Keep on your toes. Keep on your toes. I keep track of what's happening in Los Angeles. At least I try to anyway. I don't watch the stuff in Bakersfield. It doesn't concern me. What concerns me is city and county of Los Angeles because that's my home. That's my home. And I also try to keep track of what's happening out here in the Antelope Valley. But out there, buildings have changed. People hadn't changed all that much. Still pain in the asses. So when you get out of North Hollywood Station, you'll notice that each station will have a cultural aspect to it. Murals, basically. Mind the graffiti. It's when you get out of here as you'll see some of the areas where people live in. Of course, they'll have a Holiday Inn and a hotel nearby for people to stay in. They have a lot of homes, apartments, buildings. Basically, you're stuck in the San Fernando Valley portions of it. You're not right in the middle of it, but you're in a good portion of it. In the area of the Metrolink up in North Hollywood, there are places, apartment complexes, baseball field. A little south on the bank of Lancashire Boulevard, things have changed a great deal. Old North Hollywood's getting mowed over by new North Hollywood. In the area of North Hollywood, in case you want to travel to the west end of the valley, they have the Orange Line busway. Pay your fare at the stop, at the station that they have over there, and then enjoy the ride. They'll take you all the way to the west end. It's recreational. Right along the freeway of the 170 freeway, if you noticed, portions of it. It's only where I have to ask folks to use the Google Maps to see, what I used to live in and traveled through. Right along the freeway, they actually have parks. But the actual area that they've done reconstructive work, it still hurts like hell to see this stuff. Laurel Canyon Boulevard and Oxnard Street. If you guys are using Google Maps, look at the 170 freeway and see the area had a lot of commercial, surrounded by residential, a high school in the area. Well, that commercial complex used to have one major store, May Company, then it was Robinson's, or actually Rob May. And then it was just gone. And in the area, they actually had a local mall before the 94 earthquake destroyed it all. It's called Laurel Plaza. Community would go over there, shop like crazy, and enjoy themselves for the evening. I mean, who wouldn't want to go ice skating and then go out for a malt? Or find some candy or peanuts to snack on. Or popcorn. by vendors. Take care of some animals. Yeah, just pretty much changed that up. But continuing on Laurel Canyon Boulevard northwards, the shops are shutting down left and right. Some of them are struggling for businesses. There used to be a thriving mall area, thriving, with a movie theater still active. Used to be United Artists. People would see first runs in there. Across the street would be called the Valley Plaza. Sears would be an anchor store. J.C. Penney's would be right behind it, or actually on the side of it on Victory Boulevard. There'll be several shops, including a cafeteria. It was good food, low prices, and it was a community center. They had a huge shopping center, uh, grocery shopping at the end of it, on the east side, actually on the north side of the complex. If you wanted expensive jewelry, there was. If you wanted tchotchkes, there was Woolworth. If you wanted just a regular mom and pop coffee shop, it was right behind the place, right by the Sears Auto Mall, Auto Center there. Neighborhoods changed. Not just the geography, but sometimes the people would change as well. And yes, scattered throughout the place, there are a few areas that would have the infamous In-N-Out Burger. On Lancashire Boulevard, well past the Tujunga and Lancashire split, being northbound on this one. There are small side streets. One called Tierra Street, used as a marker for the north. And on the south of it would have been Emelita. But basically, you were looking for Khalifa. This place would be constantly busy with traffic. Go up and down the street with lines. But there are several others in this area. But if you're just a tourist taking buses, this would have been one of the places to go to, at least from North Hollywood. I don't know too much about some of the other areas in the NoHo district. They call it NoHo Arts District. Magnolia Boulevard in Lancashire. Different smaller mom and pops out there. But apartment complexes look the same. If you're into religion, into worshiping, or understanding something about Amelia Earhart, as I said before, they got a park system extending along the 170 freeway. I mean, this would be a total green zone from, let's see, where was that? From, oh, that's right, Chandler. But more than that, more than that. Green zone following the 170 freeway in sporadic stages, leading all the way up to at least Oxnard portions. Continuing on past Oxnard, past the NoHo West regions that they had over that area. People would use this area for traveling, for walking, for hiking and stuff. Right through Victory, the major hub that goes right over Victory and what used to be the Victory Valley Plaza. Now I don't know what the hell they call it anymore. But there'll be park areas in that area. But right along the freeway, watching watching the map as I'm scrolling it up north. I'm seeing how much the sprawl has been. Point, if I may make. Along Van Owen and 170 freeway corridor, besides the park area extending all the way along it. The senior apartments that they have in the area along Whitsett and Van Owen used to be known as Malibu Grand Prix. Now, back in the 70s and 80s, this was a hot area. This was uh, pool slides and trampolines and arcade games and miniature golf, at least 3 courses. And when Malibu Grand Prix closed down operations back in Northridge and in this place, it took out a lot of fun in the neighborhoods, that's for darn sure. So they converted it into a lot, and then they decided to make them into apartments. Across the street on Van Owen, the complex doesn't look like it had been a long time ago. It was dirt lots, but they had a golf course. They had a driving range. And they would have a miniature golf course. Not a miniature, but they would have another large athletic field for people to have fun in. Where you see the basketball and tennis courts. And that would have been a driving range right there. And some of the times the businesses and cars would be peltered with uh, balls all over the place, golf balls. So they try to make it into a sports area for people to enjoy themselves with. Plus keep the sprawl in the area, the garden areas that they have. I miss a good driving range. It was a long time ago as a kid. Pick up enough balls in the area, you get yourself a free session of driving range. But looking at the constant sprawl along the freeway, these are the areas that they probably would have the problems, or parking enforcement always would have a problem with. These would be the areas that people would camp in if they didn't have a home. Wherever there was green, there was parking. There was homeless shelters, their own shelters. But anyway, I digress on all this stuff. People can look online to see other places to be entertained with. I look at the place because I used to live there. And it wasn't. I mean, there had been entertainment a long time ago, but times change, events change, nature changes everything with the '94 quake. Don't get me started on that one.